Welcome to the Talkin Trash Addiction Recovery Podcast. We suffered in silence. Now we recover out loud.
Good evening. Welcome to the Channel 4 6 o'clock news at 9. I'm your anchor, Ron Tugnuts, coming to you live from the Volcom, Alberta Waffle House and Star Trek convention. Nanu. Today's top story, man struck by lightning faces battery charges. Good evening, Talkin' Trashers. Welcome to episode 195. We have a very special guest, Caylen all the way from Alberta. Canada, I had to think about that one. And now to the Duke of Details, the Maestro of Mayhem, Jimmy Snyder.
Listen, I'm in a mood tonight, but I love what we do and everybody and blah, blah, blah. We have a very effervescent lady on tonight who's going to share her unique approach to stimulant addiction, which I've played for years, is needed and is not there. Anyway, we do a preamble. Real quick, what do? We do this show twice a week. We do it to give addicts a place to go to, share how they're feeling. It's an open forum. We don't shun anybody. We're here for you, not us. And that in turn, we're here for us in that way. So we're gonna do our preamble real quick and then meet the team of Talkin' the Trash.
This is our humble broadcast, where ethics and personal anonymity are of the utmost importance. We run this podcast as an act of service to those whose lives have been affected by addiction. We don't do it for profit or notoriety. We place principles before personalities. We benefit from this podcast just as much as anyone else. We all work programs and choose to sacrifice our own anonymity to spread the word that recovery is possible. We do this thing in an attempt to show, as living examples, that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That's the 9th step promise. It's our creed we abide by here on Talkin' Trash. We feel called to uphold AA and NA principles. We firmly believe that you can only keep what you have by giving it away. Please join us in a moment of silence, followed by the Serenity Prayer.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
All right then, let's go around and meet the squadron of the trash talkers. I'm going to be all crazy about this tonight because I'm unprepared. First one, next is Jimmy Libel. Jimmy! Jimmy's our communications coordinator and outreach something or other. He's our guy. He's the one that should be talking to people, not me. So we've made that adjustment. And Jimmy he's our ambassador. He's really he's all part of this thing. He's built it. So Jimmy, good job. We love you. Whatever. Will Douglas, Willie D, and the place to be. Will's putting his life path together. He had 900 something days sober. We're going to start making him a little more uncomfortable on this show. That should be fun to watch. But Will is he's been there since the begizzle. So thank you, Will. We love you. The newest edition of that team is Bradley Mansfield. Brad's 49 years old. He's got 11 kids. He's been sober for 12 years. Brad's out of his mind right now. Hockey's not happening. It's nuts. And, I'm looking right at him backstage, and it's terrifying what's really going on with that guy. So Brad Mansfield in the house. And that's Talkin' Trash. Me, I run the show. I built the show to I don't know why I built it, but it's turned into something else. I'm out for justice and equality and recovery and stuff. So that's us. That's the boys. That's what we do. We had a fun show last episode. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Doing good. What do we call
Hey,
what's Jimmy again? Ronnie Lugnut? Tugnut?
Ron Tugnut.
That was, I'll tell you what, every once in a while, Jimmy delivers a gem. And that, my friend.
He played
was a
baseball.
gem.
He was a baseball player.
I watched the Flyers put
Oh,
9 in on Tugnut in like 95.
He's a goalie.
Oh yeah,
He's a
right,
goalie.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's well, you're inadvertently
close.
doing it with that because it's playoff hockey. It's a lot of fun. Ron Tugnut. Yeah, we made fun of his name for years. He was a good goalie, though. I mean, he played in a different NHL than we play now. Bradley, real quick, I was thinking about something. No, I'm gonna change what I was gonna say. I watched this movie last night called I don't know, like Radioactive Emergency or some shit on Netflix. See, what Tim does is Tim works 24/7, but I half watch tons of shit. So this is being half watched in the corner on my laptop. And I swear to God, it's so ridiculous. I think it is a poorly written movie. And I'm just criticizing it and doing my thing. It gets to the end. It is about a real time in like fucking Brazil in 1987 when cesium, the radioactive material cesium, was just passed around this community because it glue and it was pretty and like it fucking killed everybody. So like I'm watching this and I see that it's a real thing, so I look it up. Sure enough, some fucking medical company, they left the X-ray machine and these, the movie depicted the people responsible as like really stupid, like just dumb. And it felt racist at a point, and it was all in Brazilian. It's all being translated. I'm listening to it. And I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit. So yeah, these people, they passed around cesium for like 2 weeks straight until people started dropping dead. There was a whole pandemic, 1977. I just couldn't believe it was a real thing.
Holy
Blew
fuck,
my mind.
that's a serious game of hot potato right there.
It was ridiculous. So I am going to ask Jimmy. Jimmy, how are you doing?
Really good. Really happy and excited to have Caylen on tonight. I'll give you just I'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
She was cheering. It was called Sober Train, Sober Express, whatever that was called. Sober Town. Bradley, Sober Town, and she's from Alberta, and she's just so captivating and just so convicted to recovery.
Yeah.
And of course, being in the next province, and there you go. She's got a great story. So looking forward, and she's got quite the following. So for all you new viewers, welcome to the shit show.
Yeah, there we are.
Welcome to the recovery train.
Last episode, we had
Brad.
We had a gentleman on. His name was Rod Peterson. He was he's a storied play-by-play announcer. He was just it's just a good dude. Down to earth. I'm sure there was some professional courtesies that we didn't even know to extend to him, but he was gracious in dealing with our this isn't a professional podcast. It looks it, but it's not. So he was very very gracious. So let's just look at a quick clip from that.
Thanks for the kind words and thank you for listening. And the one thing that you said we're airing in a lot of treatment centers now, so the people that are new in recovery, like me being in a pink cloud, as I said, for 11 years, the longer you're in it, you keep discovering more and more about yourself, more and more about your history and all the rest. And the probably the biggest, Timmy, you worked in sports. It's gross.
Yeah. Yep.
Like narcissists rise to the top. The backstabbing is out of control. But by me getting sober, I took the bullets out of all of my haters' guns.
Yep.
I'm not giving you any ammunition to use against me.
They can't throw something in your face that you're not already doing. You're not already
so once you clean that all up, you would like to think that you have a clean side of the street, or I did not have a clean closet. But another big reason why I went to Florida was there's people in Saskatchewan that would use my history against me. And I'm like, you are a special kind of son of a bitch.
No shit.
That you would not recognize somebody's attempt to turn their life around.
What an absolute beauty Rod Peterson is. Yeah, you are a special I can't even say it. He called me Timmy. Did you hear? He called me Timmy. It was like the highlight of my life. Check out the Rod Peterson show. You just type in his name, spell it right, and then
that's a good idea.
Up. So check that out. That was episode 194. Tonight we have a very special lady coming on. First off, we're going to say hi to our treatment chef.
America. Oh, this is welcome to the America.
Okay, get rid of that yet. All right, welcome to Discovery Recovery, First Step LLC, New Hope, Serenity, Pocono Mountain Liftoff, Steps Recovery, Sunrise Detox, Victory Home, Newark Salvation Army, Lakewood Oxford House, CDP Sober Living. I said cough. Recovery Life, Columbus Celebrate Recovery. Welcome. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome to the show. You're early in recovery. We've all been there, and listen. This is a resource that can be part of your tool belt in a successful recovery. Speaking of which, we read a little something called Daily Reflection.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
All right, team. Tonight's daily. Let's turn that music down. We are so professional. We probably lost our guests already. Okay, kids, make sure you're sitting comfortably in those chairs. Tonight's daily Reflapjack for April the 8th, an inside look. We want to find exactly how, when, and where our natural desires have warped us. We wish to look squarely on the unhappiness this has caused others and ourselves. By discovering what our emotional disformities are, we can move forward their correction. That's from the old 12 and 12, page 43. Today, I am no longer a slave to alcohol. Yet, in so many ways, enslavement still threatens myself, my desires, even my dreams. Yet, without dreams, I cannot exist. Without dreams, there is nothing to keep me moving forward. I must look inside myself to free myself. I must call upon God's power to face the person I feared the most, the true me, the person God created me to be. Unless I can do, or until I do, I will always be running and never be truly free. I ask God daily to show me such freedom. There you go, kids. Crank that music. Oh, yeah.
I like this one. I like this one because it's kind of talking about the fourth step, but it's also more like, what do you guys? Fucking. All right, everybody's messaging me. I'll fix our website on the fly, boys. What's just say stuff so I can do something.
Okay, I'll go first. It kind of well, of course, it being the 4th month as everybody said meetings. Yeah, step 4, that searching and fearless moral inventory. Not a lot of words, but man, is it life changing. And when I first came into the program of AA 20 years ago, I called it the AA wall. Step 1, 2, 3, drink. Step 1, 2, 3, because I was scared shitless to actually take a real look at the true me, because I was scared. And it was mentioned at the last episode. Rod said I was scared of sobriety. I didn't like it because I had to deal with stuff like real life situations and make adult decisions and the consequences, and it scared the crap out of me.
I like it.
No, I didn't like that shit. Okay, Brad, go.
Well, for me, I did 4 and 5 a couple times, and I'm probably going to do it a 3rd and 4th time. And the reason I say that, because the first time I did it, and then I was like, after I was done, I was like, shit, more stuff started coming to me, actually. Like, so the longer I go on my sobriety, I'm just over 3 years, but the longer I go, stuff comes back to me because it's not all right in my face early in my sobriety. So it's funny how this recovery train works. Like, as I get going, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't really realize I needed to fix that, but I got to fix that too. So that's the cool thing about recovery that I love. It's like I'm learning so much about myself, where I get to learn what I need to fix. And that's, again, like Jimmy says, I can slowly get to be a better version of myself by doing that.
And those problems are all still there. We're not escaping them. We're actually compounding them by making worse decisions instead of dealing with shit. I know I'd love to hide from my mistakes. I can't. I have to live them. And my life is evident of that. But you have to find some kind of recovery and serenity. So the live section of our website is working. I don't know why GoDaddy is such a pain in the ass about this stuff, but whatever. It's up and going now.
Can you say that but slower? GoDaddy.
Yeah, he's not good.
Bradley.
I don't
sorry.
need clips of
Grow
me
up.
floating around out there. I'm a father.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's
Fair
like
enough.
babysitting. A
Zeb says, shit still bugs my brain, but my mind is better than ever. Recovery is the path. And like anybody in recovery, I didn't fix it. Keep going. Anybody in recovery, we have a certain amount of perspective that gives us tools. Will, what do you think about this shit?
Well, from what I could tell, what you were saying, because I have to reread stuff a million times. Anyhow, so being in recovery, I welcome mistakes because it's another lesson in my book. It just gets me to better myself. But if I can have I don't mind people pointing out my mistakes because then I can identify it and then do better. Mm-hmm. So I enjoy. I say bring them on. So it just makes me a better person.
It sounds like you're speaking with a voice of experience, someone who's experienced what it's like to not make these things worse and be sober and deal with them. And you have a perspective of someone who's 950 something days sober. So yeah, that's a good reading. I like that one. Well, I had something else to say about that. Recovery isn't just about putting the drink down. It's about having the courage to look forward and face the parts of ourselves we've spent years avoiding, and that's really what it is. And then you start to look at yourself and you start to deal with the character defect that led to those decisions. Why did I do? So instead of putting a Band-Aid on it in recovery, you start to fix the actual problem, and that's the beauty of it. And clean time, whatever. But like we celebrate our own clean time on the show to encourage the people that are watching to drop theirs in the comments, because we'll stop everything and show off for them. Here on Talking Trash, we honor the miracle of clean time. What is clean time? Well, clean time is the amount of time you're not doing drugs and being a lunatic. Oh, so if you want to share yours, drop it in the comments. First on deck is Will Douglas. Will's got 919 today. Way to go, Willie D, in the place to be. Next on Disney is Tim Snyder, 10-12. Good job, Tim. Thanks, buddy. Bradley Mansfield's at 11:55. Boy, Brad. That's a big number. Jimmy Leibel, our very own, 1584. The Sultan of Sobriety himself, Jimmy Leibel. We share our clean time, not for us, but to encourage you to drop yours in the comments so we can make a big deal out of it, because it is a big deal. It is. And then real quick, we're going to segue right into our guest. Jimmy, go ahead. Blair B.
We got Blair C on Sunday. That's
Blair S.
Blair S. Well,
S.
On the 15th, we have Charlotte Wells. Sunday, the 19th, we have Laura Lee Gruber. April 22nd, Art G from Manitoba. Don't hold that against them. And on the 26th, it's our 200th episode.
Yeah.
May 3rd, we have Andrew LinkedIn. And May the 6th, Eden Funk, who's another PSR alumnus. Oh, yeah.
What a great name, Eden Funk.
I know.
I realized last episode is I wish I was named Rod. That's such a cool name, isn't it? Like, it's unbelievable. Jennifer, I already knew this, and I was so close to putting you in there, but I just didn't, because I don't want to show favoritism. But Jennifer Mansfield, 882. That girl. All right, so it's designed to throughout the show. If you want to drop a comment, we'll
drop
shift
it like it's
gears.
hot.
We'll drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
I have a few from the rehabs we're gonna hold on to. But speaking of upcoming guests, so we have a lovely lady coming on tonight. Her name is Caylen B. She's a recovering meth addict. She's got just under a year of sobriety. She she identifies that there's something wrong with the way we handle stimulant addicts. Or I don't know. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. I read something to that effect, and I kind of agree with her. So let's bring our friend on. Yeah, you would. Let's bring our girl on. We're into the Flyers because they're doing so good. Oh wait, Zeb McNichol, 10-10, way to go.
Yes.
Oh, Zebby.
All right. Enough of us. Now we're going to shift gears to our guest, who is Caylen B. Caylen B is she's from what province up there? Did you say?
Alberta. She resides in Calgary, Cowtown, home of the Flames and the Stampeders.
Very neat. So she's coming into the house. She's Calgary's interesting. Alberta's a province in Canada for all you idiots out there. So let's bring our girl into the mix. She's gonna kick ass around here. Everybody, join me in welcoming our friend Caylen B. Hi, Caylen. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Fantastic.
I produce the show and host it for some reason, so I'm
we don't know why, but he does.
Well, you can't. But like I'm usually distracted, but I'm just trying to put something out there. It's we're hey Lara. Jimmy called you Larry. We're gonna bust his balls about that. Larry coming on. Laura.
Fucking Ron Tugnut.
It's not Larry.
Well, 6 point like Roman whatever italicized whatever, dude.
I know what you're talking about. So
the font.
Will doesn't even know what fonts are. We have to deal with that the whole thing.
I know.
Too. So Caylen herself is 235 days.
Oh yeah!
And then stop abruptly. And then
yes.
So what I'm gonna take this opportunity while there's a graphic on the screen to slowly segue into Caylen. Caylen, what we do on here is we have no idea what we do on here. We just kind of go with it every show. What I like to do is just kind of set you up, tell your story, tell us about Caylen, tell us why you're passionate about what you are passionate about, how far you've come, all that shit. So we're just going to kind of I don't know, set you up to tell your truth, tell your testimony as we shut up and listen. So Caylen, you have the floor, my dear.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited for this. So yeah, to not go into I used to kind of just to put this out there is I used to take my story and the trauma inside of it and make that my entire identity. So when I met new people, that's all I threw at them is either you're going to fucking like me or you're going to run away. And I'm cool with that. There's no gray area. So I've learned to kind of just take that back a little bit and start processing that and just kind of give a simplified version of the fact that it takes an incredible miracle to bring some of us back to life. I believe all of us actually are walking miracles, everybody in recovery. So yeah, my meth career lasted for about 4 years. It wasn't that I was unfamiliar with other substances prior to that. But when I picked out meth, that's when the quiet in my brain began. And then it got wildly out of control. I would say probably 4 to 6 weeks into use, I had lost my children, my job as a nurse, my vehicles and my home. Yeah, I was homeless and doing the geographical move around between provinces. And the addiction just got worse and worse and worse. And this is where I think that uniqueness comes in for having to treat, especially for the meth world, is that it is a complete subculture of its own, that people don't really understand how complex, how scary, how dangerous it is. Mm-hmm. So, being a victim of many things, like watching violence, just some really damaging occurrences that happened to me, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I went through this wild ride of using meth until the point that meth started using me. And there was just no human left there. And I'm a firm believer that the veil thins. It goes away. It goes away so far that you kind of become, and I'm going to use this word, is some other entity took over me. I lost my soul. I lost my light. It was like a demonic, you smoke the demon is what many people say. And so that was just a tragic event all in of itself, the stupidity that I did and the hurt that I caused to people. That's what I really try to focus on now as I'm healing, but also as to why I did this. And I wanted an answer why I was an addict. And I think I finally got it. But to kind of just touch into that, so I used profusely. Obviously, I said I lost a lot of things in my life and took away from a lot of people. In October 24th, 2023, I was hit head on by a semi truck in BC outside of Radium Invermere area. And that was it. That was lights out for me, I thought. And I ended up, in a very tragic state. I tore my aorta, I broke both my arms, my abdomen was torn wide open. And like that physical death, that soul death, that did occur. And then this profound experience happened for me. And I woke up from this coma, and my life from there needed to shift. And this started the pathway to getting sober. Although there would be many other instances of still trying to break that behavior that got really challenging. But finally, my first bout of sobriety hit February 2nd, 2024. And I worked a program. I had a lot of connection. I was closer to my family. And then something broke in me. And that was, I had a process addiction relapse, which led to an amphetamine relapse, which led me going to my probation officer and saying, I broke all of my conditions. What am I doing? Am I going to jail today? I'd already given my mom the emergency list for jail, or what is my options? And he said, you're so honest and you're so dedicated to this. Let's get you to treatment. Let's get you help. Awesome. But the beautiful gift of that is that I was connected with a mental health specialist that got me into a concurrent program. And this is where I started to find some answers. So now today, I have 35 days?
235.
Yeah. We love it.
We love it. Yeah. It feels good to have that again. But this time, this recovery for me is a lot different. I realized what my compounding, like the most complex thing I was facing was mental health. The meth was just a quieter, but then it dug up so much trauma and created.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you like to be on staff at Talkin Trash as some kind of leader? Because I feel the exact same way. Like it doesn't fix everything, but it gives you an answer as to why you have to self-medicate. Mental health is huge.
And I love that she said that. Sorry to interrupt, Tim. I love that she said that about mental health, because when I went to rehab, I just went into rehab thinking I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. I come out realizing like, whoa, okay, that's basically 15% of my problem. Like it was what was going on in my head and what made me tick. And that's really cool that you said that and recognize that, because that's, I think, for all the listeners out there and all of us on the podcast right now, that's the number one driving force with addiction, period. I think, and that's just my opinion, is the mental awareness and the mental health shit, because I drank and used to hide what I didn't want to know about myself and all this mental stuff, right? So yeah, that's an awesome statement. I'm glad you shared that, because that's bang huge. On in my books for sure.
Thank you.
Caylen, we have people on who are 11 years sober, it's I identify with everybody, but I have a special identification for those, say, under a year, that are in early recovery, that are trying to figure it out. Something you said is that your recovery is different this time. Your approach is different. Looking at mental health is different. If you're doing recovery, it should be different every time, because it didn't work the last time. So if you're trying it again, you might want to change things up. And we've all learned trial and error. Some don't get the blessing to get out of it. It is a survival. And you seem to know the importance of it. Like it is life and death. So I'm interested to have. So I when I worked in treatment, I was just an addict working in treatment. I was a tech, and when I worked in treatment, I would see addicts come in, like Will. Will comes in all cracked out of his mind, and poor Will. I knew the care they were getting, say, in detox. Now this is a professional place. They won't give you anything, nothing. They won't give you Ativan. I'm like, my heart's breaking. I'm like, this poor guy needs to. Now, granted, most amphetamine people, when they get sober, they just sleep for a week and eat candy. But like, there's a mental strain that puts on you. Amphetamine use, there's neuroplasticity involved. I'm not smart, but like, I understand why I'm fucked up. So, and you're trying to pinpoint why you're fucked up, and we all are fucked up. So like, we would see these people not get help. They would suffer. They would AMA. Like, oh my God, so many people come in thinking they're going to get comfort, and they AMA because they're lunatics and they can't sleep. And then for the ones that do go through it and come out the other side and start treatment, everybody's affected differently by their addiction and what it did to them, but everybody needs to be handled specifically. And they do that for opiate users. They do that for alcoholics. There is no protocol that I know of in 2026 for people on amphetamines. So, Caylen, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that and your experience. It sounds like you have firsthand experience in this area.
Yeah, for sure. So that just to differentiate too, like two things that are different for me this time is that like I'm all for AA, NA when they work for people, but I kept approaching my situation with the same repetitive pattern and I kept failing. And that was just a big kicker for me was like, hey, maybe it's not just addiction. So I knew I had mental health problems. I just never knew where or how to identify them. And what that really boiled down to was I was having an identity crisis my whole life. So I have borderline personality disorder, paired with major depressive disorder, anxiety, compulsions, all of these other things. And so what I needed to know was like, what is affecting my brain like this? So I did a lot of research and actually through Sobertown got connected to a fellow that explained to me the impacts that meth has on your brain, especially with the dopamine levels. So if you're eating like, let's say like a cheeseburger or you have an orgasm or something like that, you're ranging from like 500 to like maybe 1,000 or 100, sorry, to maybe 500. For every single hit of meth that you do, no matter how you consume it, your brain neurons, like the neurons get hit so hard, it's almost like 5,000 to 10,000 times of that dopamine. So what happens is your brain has to physically rewire itself to receive the rush of all of this instead of just collapsing in on itself. So that right there, and like other drugs will mimic the neuroreceptors, and they don't cause like such significant damage. They just have the reuptake is way heightened. Meth is so chemically unfamiliar to the body that it actually physically burns those neurons that can damage. So it's exceptional cases when people don't suffer some kind of brain damage coming out of a long-term meth use. Not to mention like the behavioral side effects that come with it. Detox is very unique with it too. And I think people don't really know how to approach that because it's kind of the reverse effect is I was good for a couple days and then the hallucinations, the paranoia went right back into psychosis. All of that started. And then it was like speed to catch up on sleep. I needed to be medicated. And like, we didn't know what the fuck we needed to do because it was just hit me weeks down the road while I was in a center that thought I was already detoxed. So that was a little terrifying. Yeah.
Well,
I think I went totally astray, but
you're intelligent, like most addicts are, most people are. You took it a step further. Why am I like this? And you used obviously, research and you know how the brain works. And we know how the brain works. We know how to deal with depression, shit like that. Pills don't fix everything. So like when I first realized that I needed meds, I started taking them. 2 days later, I'm like, I'm still depressed. And the doctor's like, yeah, dickhead, you're going to be depressed for a while. And like, I didn't like you don't realize that this stuff isn't fixed like that. These things take 6 months to start helping, or at least for some people. And the pills alone don't do it. You have to work on yourself. So I'm going to stop talking. But yeah, you have a very educated and unique experience. People need to fucking hear this shit because the opiate addict needs to be treated for that thereafter. The meth addict needs to be treated a certain way as well afterwards. I mean, it all fucks our brains up, but it all does it in different ways. I did acid for like a month straight when I was 18. I swear to God, I experienced a fourth dimension. So like that shit fucks with you. I'm obviously crazy, so it's probably half the reason.
Yes, you are.
But
I just really like when I hear you talk, Caylen, like honestly, 235 days, and to hear your enthusiasm about recovery and the knowledge that you're bringing, like, man, I'm telling you, like it's breathtaking. It's really refreshing to hear because you seem very knowledgeable about what you're talking about, and What you're doing in your recovery from what I see. I want some of that. You're doing.
Yeah, let me get some of that
I'll have a
stuff.
double helping of that. Give me.
All right, so Will Douglas, Will, you are a savage meth head. Can you explain? Can you? I don't know. Weigh in here on how?
Yeah, I mean, I can identify absolutely. I had a couple quick questions. The only reason why is, or Matt, may I ask your age?
Yeah, I'm 37.
And how many times? How many times did you go to rehab?
Twice, but two different. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So, like, I mean, I've been quite a few times, but
few.
so like I had the same like when you people have like near death experiences or spiritual awakening. So like I had like a spiritual awakening, I would call it, in like 2020, 21 time, and so like you were saying, you started getting like your bouts of sober, like it was a different mindset though, like when you started doing it, and you would slip up, and then you like it was as I call it, a lesson, but I was actually learning these lessons now. I told him, I was like, it blew my mind that I was like, oh my god, all you have to do is just like pass this lesson and not have to come back. Like it was like a child. I mean, but the thing is that so like I mean when I met Tim at rehab this past time, I didn't need to go because of the fact, I mean, I already knew all that stuff. I mean, it was a whole other experience because I came out with a really good friend. I've never done that before, but my mental status of everything was a totally different perception. And like the coming off of meth was totally different. It wasn't like before. It was like, it was so much simpler. I mean, like it was just like something triggered in my mind. And it was like the way it used to be was so nothing like it was, you know. I mean, it took a few times, but eventually, you know, gradually I got it. So, but no, I can totally relate to you so much. And I agree 100% that meth addicts need something, you know, just like everybody else. You know, it's more like, I guess you'd call it, what's it called? What's that word called?
Medicine.
No. Like when
recovery, addiction.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like what will?
No, maintenance. I guess.
Try sounding it out.
Maintenance.
Phonetically.
So
right.
Yeah. I mean, I take Vyvanse and Adderall. You know, but
good
I mean,
on you.
I'm through the roof, ADD, ADHD, and like all that LMNOP and all that stuff. And but I mean, that you know what? Before, when I was younger and I hadn't gone through this spiritual awakening process, I would have abused it. I would have, hell yeah. But I mean, and it affected me differently. Now that I'm like, I see it totally for another reason. My mind does too, my body. So it is like a total maintenance. I mean, like I don't even think about meth anymore. You know,
right?
I mean,
and you're not out of your Adderall 10 days into your script either, and dealing with that kind of psychosis too.
I mean, sometimes, but I mean, you know, the thing is that I can get by. I mean, it's like I don't make it a big issue. You know, like before I would have been tripping, like if I was about to run out a day and I had to get to the pharmacy. Now it's like, you know.
So we'll definitely run down a little early, but that's okay. We all do. I don't even know how. Sometimes you say stuff and I don't even know what to say after it. So I'm just
gonna do. Everybody else too. So.
Just gonna do this. Boy Jersey's pet lizard bit 3 people. Authority is warned that the singer needs a calmer chameleon.
Come on, chameleon.
So I love what Will just shared. He shared a personal ship. I'm doing fucking 9 things. I got somebody bothering me. You know who you are. Knock it off. To hear like I know Will's story.
What did I say? Tell me everything I just said.
Just something about meeting some handsome guy in rehab and trying to turn him. Rob Vargo said something nice to our girl. He said, "Caylen, you sound and look great." But Rob Vargo is a fan of ours. Look at this guy's fucking trash jersey. Holy shit, he is gorgeous. He's
a Flyers fan.
And he was in Newark, New Jersey last night to watch the Philadelphia Flyers gain their playoff spot. Attaboy, Rob. Thank you for the pictures and for being a friend. He's a true friend. And like, I hold on to people like that. I have people like that in my life that
fuck with me,
you're stuck with me. Zeb said, I found the ADD med my doctor prescribed really helped in my recovery from meth, and it worked for me. Listen, there was a time where I would get an Adderall and it wasn't going in my mouth. You know what I mean? It was going up my nose or whatever. And like,
well,
no, I mean,
I was joking. Come on,
we've covered that. what? So if I'm trying to live a life of recovery, and say I'm on Adderall, which I am, I don't want to take it all and run out and deal with that. I've been through that, and I don't know. Everybody has their own saturation point, but like meth is a brutal addiction, and your 235 days feel like 235 years, to be honest with you, because you are actively trying to figure out why your first recovery experience didn't make sense. Why did it not? Like a lot of people come out of recovery the first time, boom, AA sponsored this, that, and the third. That doesn't work for everybody. And in fact, sometimes it turns people off. So like, that's why we promote that mental health is one. If you have to handle that first, and then you can look and figure out the addiction part. My boys here, they've all been through something different. We all have a story of we shouldn't be alive, that whole thing. But we're here, and we're here by luck. I am. It sounds like most of us are. When you're playing this game, it's Russian roulette. You don't know if you're going to die when you take that hit. You don't know if fentanyl's in it. It's fucked up now. So like,
I got a question for you, Caylen. So like early in your sobriety, like all of us, like we're all early in our sobriety.
Yep.
Like are there daily? So I find for me consistency is a big one. Like I got to keep doing what I'm doing, because even though half the time I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but it's working. So do you have a system for yourself, like that you can let people know early in recovery what you do in the daily routine?
Yeah, we're always
that helps.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that kind of led into like the thing that I like to promote the most is that, just to kind of touch on it, is like, sorry, you said there, when you first enter treatment, sometimes it's off-putting or sometimes it's this or that. It's basically like trying to slap a Band-Aid on a massive hemorrhage where that person has no idea what they're being exposed to, what's quite up with that. They get intimidated or other opportunities come up. So it needs to be like a layered approach. And that's where I have, and that I can't just hit the gate, like hit the ground running. I'm probably going to fall on my face. Someone said to me once, I have to grow into the shoes that I'm supposed to step into. So if I'm handed everything at once, that's too much. And I'm definitely, for myself, going to burn that to the ground. I have to earn my right and my process, but everything around that is a lesson. So if I kind of step back to that, is like, I look back to when I knew I had mental health issues. If I would have committed at that time to a hard, like 5-year commitment, which people are like, holy fuck, that's a lot of time. No, it's really actually not. And so if I had done that, I might have fared out a little bit better. But I'm actually super grateful that all of this has happened, because there's such a profound experience in it for me that I hope I can help other people with.
Yep.
So if I look now, like the number one thing that I have to remind myself every day is that shit's not going to just fix like that. I have to show up for myself. There's no one coming to save me, but I am worth it. I am smart enough, and I am entitled in a healthy, safe way to go and seek that help and to educate myself. So every day, like I've got to learn something new, but I have to connect with somebody that's a mentor to me. So if I'm aspiring to be something, I want to be guided by a person that is that thing that I want to be, or has something that I want. And this is something that I learned in the program. But there's many different layers as you progress to step into these shoes. So you have to really become aware of like who you are, what kind of purpose you want. And that's not shit you're going to figure out in the first couple of days. Like this has taken me a good 2-year run with relapse in the middle to figure that out. But the biggest key that I found is that meth threw me too so deeply. And I learned too, it's like the sickness of that soul. And I definitely had a hole in my soul, in my heart, that was very profoundly huge. And I knew that something was lacking, and there was still something hemorrhaging, and I didn't really catch on. I was like, okay, higher power, I've got God. I truly believe so much in God of my, thinking and understanding, but I'm hearing all the time that people can't grasp that. So what I've learned to kind of adapt with is like, what fills your spiritual void? Number one, every day I face every day is what is going to fill my spiritual void today. So in the essence of that, there's like God walks, talks, shakes hands. There's human connection. There's reading something. Like I said, finding a mentor to just aspire to be like, to guide you through this process. And then you got to set a goal. So I learned through an amazing program that I did called On a Dime that you set your daily intentions. And you set those intentions, and you don't go to bed till you can complete them. Now, you don't set shit that's like wild out of this world. Some days it's like, I'm going to get up and brush my teeth. I'm going to actually make myself a meal. I'm going to go outside for a walk. Then there's sometimes that you need to pick something that's just like for pure joy. And sometimes that's just coloring or reading a book or phoning somebody on the phone and talking for an hour about basically nonsense and just getting out of your own brain. And so when you hit that too, then you can have a harder thing and then you get a reward system. And I know I'm saying a lot right now.
No.
You make it sense to us.
Wow.
Yeah. So the affliction of that soul for me comes in many different aspects. And that's where I learned that my mental health every day has to be a focus, that the soul sickness has to be a focus. Human connection, purpose, and service of anything needs to be a focus. And so I really looked to like what kind of spiritual practices or release would line up with things. So the first Band-Aid I put on my recovery was AA and NA, CMA. And then I was like, okay, we're still hemorrhaging a bit here. What else can I put on? And that soul affliction started. So I started going to church and exploring different types of like spiritual realms. I read tarot cards, I do other types of meditation and like really deep reflection. And I listen to everything and I watch anything that just kind of comes. I believe that my spiritual awakening story is synchronicities, and people are going too fast to notice the most beautiful, crazy things happening.
Yep.
So, and like, to me, it's I've got a big number thing, and every time I have a meeting with Sobertown, all these numbers line up, and it's all these angelic numbers, and I can't leave my house or even sit in my house without having some kind of experience, because I'm aware that there's a spiritual affliction that I'm trying to fix. And then if I look at my mental health, that compounds on it every day. So to me, what I understand is addiction is a behavioral process. So we get that medication to stabilize, whether it be in the beginning, the middle, near the end. Our brain is going to change as we go. It's okay in my mind now to add pharmaceuticals to stabilize. So basically someone that has BPD like me, or a heavy stimulant addiction, they have a psychotic side and a neurotic side. And rather than sitting in the middle, they're one or the other to the absolute extreme. Right. So whether it's like compulsions, like for me, it was like, I got to go do crime. I have OCD. I have to do this. I have to people please in such an aspect. And I was so OCD about that I had to quiet my mind. And then I would go to the psychotic side and it was literally psychosis and just feeding that fuel of staying in this alternative world. So every day for me, it's like, what can find that middle? And sometimes it's laying in bed for 4 hours till I have the energy to get up and work on those intentions. And like I said, sometimes it's just brushing my teeth, but prayer has a lot of power behind it. And if I'm not finding my way through my day, I absolutely turn that conversation over to God, to Jesus, to my higher power, the divine, like Mother Gaia, creator. I take many facets of spirituality and compound it on the physical and the treatment and the mental health, because everything is going to make a bandage that's strong enough to cover and heal that hemorrhage finally. So every day is a new exploration for me. But like I said in the beginning, some days if you just get up and like change your pants and brush your teeth and drink some water, that's a huge win. And you need to celebrate those wins.
Yeah. And Brad, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, so when you're talking there, wow. So this is why
you guys
I love being
are ridiculous.
Part of this show. This is why I love being part of the show and love having all the guests that we do have, because the shit you learn from everybody saying stuff like what you just said there, like you're so right. Like if you set these little goals, and don't shoot for the fucking moon, because you're gonna disappoint yourself. You're gonna disappoint yourself, right? Like I love that, because you're totally right. Brush your teeth, make your bed. Like fucking put 2 socks on today. Like that's so true. But it's so true, because it's it's about those expectations, right? We start setting expectations. We start setting the bar way too high. All we're gonna do is disappoint ourselves, and we don't know what's gonna happen too. So we have to be ready for change and stuff. So the way you talk, man, you bring a lot of knowledge, and that's
that's what we need. That's what we need.
Keep doing what you're doing, because it seems to be fucking working. So good on you.
Thank you.
That's what we need now. We need people to say, the paradigm needs to be adjusted for each person. Like everybody's different. Dual diagnosis. I can give you 10 different acronyms for what I've been diagnosed with, and that's okay. Like fine. I'm dealing with what. Well, I'm dealing with why I'm nuts. Like that's helpful, but like it doesn't mean that like I have the answers. And like you said, a mentor, someone you look up to. You know, like just for an example, like Will is somebody I look up to, but at the same time, I have whatever 100 days extra, so whatever it doesn't. We're not keeping score, but like
it's not a competition, right?
It's never a competition.
No.
Every journey is so different.
We're journeying together. Whether you're just starting or you're 10 years ahead of me, we're all together as a group. Part of the herd. Right?
The guy that's winning says it's not a competition. That's how
Shut
it is.
up. I could go back to day one. Like,
we all can.
All I got is today. That's all I got is today.
That's all. The person that is teaching should be still the student. Once they think they're just the teacher, then it's all over. They should always be
always learning.
In their mindset, need to know that they're still a student, regardless, forever. They're never just a teacher. When they get to that point, it's
like I've been at that point Will's describing a few times. I think I got it all figured out.
I hit that before too,
and I would brush my addiction under the rug. Why? Because it's dirty and it's it doesn't look good. That's the mistake I made, hiding my addiction, because I would put it in the dark, but it's still there. I just can't see it. And Jimmy says it all the time. His addiction's outside, doing crunches or whatever. Like that's legit. Like when we let the
squats, whatever.
When we let our guard down, we are very. It doesn't matter if we're a decade in or a day in. We let our guard down, and we are susceptible to getting knocked down by haters, whatever it is. But the point, we have to do this, come together and speak. I I could write an entire. I agree with you 100%. Your entire approach, but that's because I'm the same way. I'm also self-educated on why am I like this? Why do I wake up and feel like I don't want to wake up? And I had to go through a lot to figure that out. And I built this show as a accountability tool, but a way for us all to have a voice. And we'll let anybody on here, and obviously Will's here, and what we've developed. You're looking at over a decade of sobriety on this screen, and that means nothing to us individually. Corporately, as a team, we got each other's backs. Like this show wouldn't work if we just all clocked in on Wednesdays and Sundays for an hour. We talk all week. We're trying to figure this out just like you are, because we have all this information. We have all these tools.
We are.
Well, there you go. Toot, Willie. Jimmy, I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
I'm just it's already been said before by Brad and by yourself. And watching Will just head nodding, and Will, no offense, this is the most engaged I've seen you ever.
Well,
and it's so good because you can relate.
I don't mean to interrupt, but
go ahead.
I've never heard anybody else actually when they're speaking. I mean, it's everything that I agree with, and it's hard to explain to some people because they just don't get it or don't want to get it. But it's just like sometimes like you gotta have an open mind. But I mean, I agree with you 1,000,000,000%, and I've never come across somebody else. I mean, I have, but you know what I'm saying. But on like this experience, I mean, I agree with you. That's why I was asking you how long, because I mean, it took me a long time to get there. It took you a lot. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not. I said not a competition, but I'm just like, damn. I mean, I am slow. I'm a window licker, so I mean, I to learn the lesson.
Oh boy, just for today. Will is he's very whatever. I was in a place in my life where I was able to see who's bullshit and who isn't, and 80% of people are. And then I run across the Wills, and I'm like, "You're real? Okay, can you show me what you're doing?" And it was that kind of humility that I never had, and I was just always better than people, or just didn't want to identify whatever stigma.
There you go.
We're here to promote sobriety and recovery, and it's it doesn't have we can't approach people with anger anymore. That shit doesn't work.
There's not one single way to do it.
Tough love is bullshit.
Right? It is bullshit. It's a cop out. And I look back.
It's for people that are scared and don't know how to answer a situation that's
fucking rights.
And I can meet people where they're at with that. And I used to have so much blame and so much hatred. And someone kind of said the titles or where each person is. So Like another thing that I do every day is like I don't wake up and I'm sorry to AA and NA, but the reason that I pulled back so hard is I was degrading myself so hard. I could only think of like negative experiences because in those rooms I felt people suffering and I never wanted to celebrate my wins. But the most demeaning thing to me was the prefix is like addict named Caylen, meth addict named Caylen. That's not who the fuck I am anymore. That was a shaping period for me to be able to come and stand in the shape of who I am today. And I know that many people that worked for them, but there's so many more things I want to say that I am. You know, I am a mom. I want to be a nurse again. I serve and help people. You know, I'm an outreach coordinator. I'm developing my own business. I'm like just so many different identities. You know, I'm a daughter, but the biggest thing I wanted to finally say one day is like, I am Caylen. Like, I'm 37 years old, and this last, like, let's say 6 months has been the biggest life journey of finding out who I am, like, and taking pride and saying my name. And that's where I kind of, like, sorry to just cut everybody off, but I just got really excited because Will was nodding. And that's where the recovery alchemist thing for me comes in. So, you know, I really put this process.
I don't know what those words mean in that sentence, and I'm open to anything. So just explain what recovery alchemist is.
Perfect. So, like my first initiative to kind of give a little bit of background was starting an organization called Method 10 The Madness. And this was specifically tailored to people coming out of recovery, kind of geared towards meth addiction. And so I had clothing lines like the Dark Martyr. They celebrated people's like specific sobriety dates. So I made those. And then like the idea of getting a grassroots organization for me wasn't quite taking off, but I was through that able to align with so many incredible people. Right. And I'll never forget, there was one mentor, she's amazing. And she said to me, why don't you just let the process take its process, like slow down. And through meditation and things, I'm like, how do I come to identify as myself? How can I move past these major events in my life and like stop throwing that at everybody as my identity? Right. So I slowly went through these things and these dark nights of the soul, just sitting in that pain and reflecting on things and doing that shadow work. So returning to my childhood traumas, my traumas as teens, traumas I created for myself as an adult, and facing these things head on. Now, I'm not going to come and just, you know, lay blame on anybody. I played a part in every situation that ever happened to me, and I most likely created it. So I would sit in this like paradox universe to me, like looking at like the physicality that I could imagine as my child, like my inner child. What would I say to her right now? What would she say to me right now? And what are these events? So that is like that shadow work to dive really deep into. And it was finding like core emotions, core beliefs. Like my engaging emotion is rage, and I don't want to do that anymore. So what core belief did that align with for me? And that was like, I am totally worthless. So, you know, I thought I was worthless because I have a criminal record. I lost my children. I lost my job. But there's no concrete evidence that I'm worthless because of that. So I just prayed and I held on to this process. And I did a lot of like silver lining digging. And that's where I'm able to go back now to like the darkest, most tragic events and find forgiveness in them, because there's a lesson to be learned. And so someone explained to me that everything that I connect has meaning, whether it's like people, places, things, and I hold really strong memories to those. But that's what's shaping my thinking. So what alchemist in terms is like taking that pain, taking some kind of suffering and transcending and healing it into an outward level of strength. And, you know, taking all of that pain and making it empowerment. So looking at like a recovery base, like I've had, you know, survived some extreme domestic violence issues, you know, like assaults physically, and many other things. But I'm like, hey, there's got to be a reason that these things, there's empowerment in this. So I would take that deep, deep pain and find empowerment, whether it was through telling my story, you know, journaling, just going through all of this. And so what I would love to do is to help people take those really dark moments and define them rather than just that trauma. There's so much more to be had on top of that, and basically make them like the magician of their outcome is they can take that pain and alchemize and put it outwards into something else as a motivation, as an empowerment. And I'm noticing like organically this is happening around me, because the more that I'm aligning with it, people with that are also aligning with me. And that's like, the one thing for me I'll never forget is my first meeting. Someone was like, yeah, the fourth dimension. I'm like, I want to fucking go to the fourth dimension. Like, like cool. What is this place? Like, I'm in. Down. And I realized just like 2 weeks ago, sorry, that like we live we live in a 3D world, okay? Mm-hmm. So we can see like in front of us, up and down, sideways. We can't really see behind us, but we're developing some senses that there's danger there. But hitting that 4D, what I learned is like, okay, you can see all ways and you can see behind you because you can feel. You have a certain state of like spiritual consciousness or awakening that connects you to a higher dimension where so much freedom and release is had. But you can only come to these processes by taking all of that pain and that darkness and sitting in that until you can disintegrate it and use it as empowerment. And then you can hit that true fourth dimension with that like spirituality on whatever plane that you want it to be. Like I love Christianity, but I'm not, like committed to that 100%. I believe in some of their ideology. But then again, like I do like divination things, like reading tarot. I meditate. I go for shaman experiences, many different things. But all of this enlightenment had to come from me cutting out that dark, heavy, sickening weight. And I want to help other people find there's a silver lining in everything. Like my accident, I'd say it's the third best day of my life other than my children being born, because there was a chance to like get me back and come back into this world and actually learn to live. Like that was such a thing.
I gotta jump in. I hate cutting anybody off.
That's okay.
When you explain, when you say like a fourth dimension, like I'm rocketed back to this experience that I had, and I got in an accident. I got in a coma, broke my neck, all that stuff. I was dead for a little bit, and I don't talk about the experience much, but I did have an experience, and all I can say is that it was an extra thing. Like I could hear light, and I could see sound, and like you can't explain something like that in words. So I felt it for a second, and after my accident, I still had trouble, but like I hung on to that mistake, that accident, as there is now I know there's something else. I don't know what it is. I've experienced it. I'm not going to go tell everybody about it. It's like a personal experience that I'm sharing with 500 people. But like I don't know how to explain it, so I don't talk about it much. But like I don't know, something I died, and
it's for you to experience. It's for you to grow from it.
But when she speaks about fourth dimensions, it just makes me think it's whatever's next. Whatever we're all trying to get through this to get to that, whatever that looks like. And for us that go through pain, like we all have, we sometimes we have these things like accidents and life events that kind of open our eyes to things. And for me, it was like an actual spiritual experience. I didn't deserve it. I was on and off drugs at that point. But I had this experience, and I used after it, believe me. But like it always stuck with me, and it
really well.
Whether it's a cop out or whatever, but I know there's something else. The answer to what we do in our life, the answer that we don't need to know the answer. We just need to know that our time here is finite, and we have to make the best out of it. So here I am, also somewhat your age, a little younger, much older, and
I was gonna say liar,
liar, pants on flyer.
I felt this gratefulness for going through what I just explained, all that stuff, and I had to give it back somehow, and I needed to stay sober. So Wayne Gretzky says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and what you're explaining is trying it all and taking what works for you and leaving the rest. And good on you. And that's what that is our
and I was going to say the exact same thing, Tim. When it comes to recovery, that's the beauty of recovery, because whatever works for Caylen, fucking keep doing it because it's working. And whatever works for Brad, fucking keep doing it because it's working for Brad. Like,
but you have to want to like explore that. That's the thing. You've got to like come into finding that you have purpose. And that's like every day I'm like, hey, what's my purpose today? My purpose is like, I want to be a mom again. So like, how can I do that? But I have to be really open-minded and dedicated to diving into this. This shit's really uncomfortable. And you're never going to grow if you sit in comfort. It's like a tree could go to that soft inner soil and root, but the roots would never run deep enough. The tree wouldn't grow like wide enough and it would just fall. So they go to the rocky clay, the hard areas to grow, and it takes them a long time. But those roots run really deep. And then the growth on top is absolutely beautiful and stable. And someone said to me, and sorry, not to cut you off, and someone said to me one day that like rejection and redirection, like it can be the most dramatic situation to the smallest situation. That's always God's protection. So even if you hate what's happening, it's doing this for a reason. You know, you've lost your job. Maybe you need to focus on another career. Maybe if you're relapsing, you need to go back to treatment. These doors will open. You just have to be willing to see them and go through them.
Yep.
You can't totally cut you off.
You can't see things if you're not looking.
Caylen's saying, sorry for interrupting. I don't know if you know this, but when it says 195 and it's got your name, she's your show. She's your show.
Yeah,
and it's,
exactly.
And it's
doing what you're doing.
We're working on that in therapy.
But keep
that's
doing what you're doing because it's fucking wicked.
That's what I love about this show is that once this is over, it's recorded, it's available 10 different ways, and it's etched in history. So your words, whatever it means, and maybe nobody watches this show in the future, probably will happen, but like your words are like recorded, and people, and it's important because people need to hear it. Something I just wanted to ask real quick: early in recovery, your first go at it, you go all into the AA stuff. I went through the same thing. But like, it's the community that you experience that community, that I'm not alone thing first. And that's super powerful. We identify with it, but then we buy into something that like, maybe it's a little old, maybe it's just,
you can outgrow it.
So it's there. It's the support system is there, that group support, and take what you want and leave the rest. And I mean, people need to hear, your message, and thank God it's recorded, and they will. Destiny label. She's been singing your praises all show. You have fans out there. People identify with you.
Yeah,
and I can tell why they identify because I identify with you, and we're in this recovery thing. It's scary. We're not.
Speaking, I want to add something on top of that. About when you were saying redirection. So when I decided to stop saying why me, like pity pot, I mean, I was saying that and said I got excited because I mean, like even though it was something shitty that happened, I'm like, this is a whole other opportunity. Like we're about to go. I'm about to go in another direction, and so therefore I started being. I mean, not like I was looking forward to like fucking up and stuff like that, or something bad happening. But I always knew. Guess what? Yeah. There, when that corner turned, like I mean, the many times I've been to jail, I'm like, something good's gonna come out of this. But you know what? It always does. Out of everything terrible, something great comes.
And we have a responsibility to tell people that that's what happens, but you have to experience it. We are accountable.
Yeah. And if you live in a place of lack, so, like I have faced homelessness, like to severe levels, like many others have. And oh my gosh, it just irks me. But I also, when second time I went to treatment here, the facility ran out of food one night and I absolutely lost my fucking mind. And I didn't understand why, because I don't always, that's a lie. I like to yell and scream sometimes. Learning to like regress on that authority issue. But a nurse came up to me and she said, she's like, you're angry right now because you're scared you're not going to eat again tonight. And I was terrified of that. And I never really realized that. So then I realized that like, hey, prayers are powerful words. Manifestations come into existence. Affirmations change the way you think about yourself. And this is what I'm saying, like as these dimensions progress, apparently the key is you hit the 5th and 6th dimension and there's no longer time to wait for what you want to manifest. It happens when you think it, but you have to grow through that process to get there. And that's why some people are like, hey, I've prayed about this and I'm not getting what I want. It's like, you can't do this selfishly. You can't come from a place of lack. And you just really have to understand that like process is going to take time. But once that time, like that mind frame for me changed, I was no longer living in fear. And what I was allowed and able to do finally for myself is take some pride in like, hey, I don't have to be homeless. Like, I just moved into a place entirely on my own. I did not ever see this coming for a very long time. And like without all that connection coming this way and me doing all that work and obviously God and higher power moving, this just wouldn't be possible. But I like that I have a purpose here and I no longer think from a place of lack, which makes my mindset go out and makes me drive further to achieve more things.
Yes.
And so once I kind of narrowed through those pathways and just set on that intention, that has been such a healing factor going forward. And it changes the way I think, which changes the way I behave, which changes the way I interact with people and how the world interacts with me.
Yes.
And meeting people at their level is one of the most absolutely freeing things. You know, my mom and I both experienced really tragic events with like previous partners in our lives, and I won't go into details about that. But when I came to my mom, there was no way in hell I should have expected her to know how to handle that same tragedy for me if that tragedy wasn't processed the first time. Because there wasn't the capabilities at that time. There just wasn't that option. So me being able to see her eye to eye and transcribe her pain finally gave me empowerment. And now, like, our relationship, my mom is my biggest fan, and I could not do anything without her or my family, you know, and my extended family. So much support, but I had to come and meet them at their level. And that, you know, brought me back down to earth. It made me realize that there's like generational gaps and things just aren't the same for everybody. Yep. And that to me was like that true push for humility and understanding. And, you know, like, that's just huge for me to do that.
You sound like somebody who's 10 years sober, and
yes, absolutely.
But you're actively looking for an answer, as we all are. Yes. Get out of your comfort zone, give back, and it comes back to you, and you start to manifest these positive things. I mean, you know, like me, I'm like, I bought this the other day. I'm like nuts, right? I'm always doing this. Yes. So I bought a what is this called? It's like a
sandbox.
A Zen garden? A Zen garden?
Zen garden. Thank you very much. Now my Zen garden's ridiculous looking, but I've been using that. I've been using that as a tool in my addiction or my recovery to try to deal with, because like that's part of it. I take my meds, I do everything I'm supposed to, but I'm still shaky as fuck, right? And I have injuries. I can't feel my fingers anymore. Shit's got bad. So like, you know, little things like just if it's nice to rake the sand. I don't know why. It just is. So like
cathartic.
Cathartic. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And that's just the thing, is like that repetition too, right? Like, and like someone had said, like, what's the schedule through that day? And it's you need to learn to self-soothe. Number one, that's what I've learned. Like, is that I don't have to hold myself with all the emotional trauma. This is why I go to therapy again and again and again. I'm not like a one-stop shop. I'm committed to like, you know, at least 10 more years of hard work like this. Yeah. And, you know, but every day, like, sorry, and I forgot to say this earlier, and I really want to say this before anything ends, is that every single day before my feet even touch the floor, and I'm getting better about not turning the TV on or checking my phone, but I touch base with God, higher power, and I turn everything over. I mean, completely everything. Like, there's certain things I can act upon, like choosing to eat and stuff, but there are crises, and events that happen, good and bad, that are literally truly out of my control. Yeah. So I give my reaction all to God, everything to God. And what that does is it takes away my control of that situation. So I don't have an expectation. There's no reason to fail. I meet it where it's at. And I have this total security and loss of fear to go through that day totally intimidated. Not anymore.
Yep.
She's a keeper, guys.
I don't know what to say. I mean, thanks for. Do you want people to get in touch with you? Is there a way for them to, or do you not?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I had a website that totally failed. I think social media would probably be the easiest, or through my email. I would recommend that.
All right. Check her out on social. She's willing to help, as we all are. And it's like when we have somebody like her on, boys, like I feel like I didn't want to do this show tonight. I'll be honest with you. I'm just
your attitude's changed, buddy.
Yeah, I just have a lot going on. And you know, I came in and I'm gonna do it. It's my job, it's my responsibility. I'm gonna go through the motions. And by going through the motions, I experienced something that I needed to hear, obviously. Yes. So it got me out of my comfort zone.
And how many times have we all done that before? Like, so I've done that before, especially early in my recovery. Oh, fuck, I got a meeting tonight. Yeah. I don't want to go. And then you go and it's like, boom, you hear something or it's one of your best meetings you might have been to, blah, 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 whatever.
That's God moving.
Exactly.
The God shot.
Because
right?
you never know what you're going to see or experience if you don't do something that you're committed to or consistency in our recovery, because
you have to show up.
You have to fucking show up. Exactly.
And too, I'd like to add to that is like to show up like someone in my life told me, like my mom, you look good, you feel good, you do good. And now I understand where like that could be really vain. But like I lost myself. I was like a complete I don't even know. If I look at pictures, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, you know, I weigh like, you know, let's say like 180 right now. I went into treatment the first time at 117 pounds. I'm 5'9". Like that's disgusting. And I didn't notice that happening. But then my insecurities came up. Like all my hair fell out, like literally the entire back of my head, my hair fell out. So I was struggling with so much of that. And then my aunt had me and like helped me out, you know, get like some hair extensions, some makeup to dye my hair a bit. And the Gallet treatment got me my first haircut in 4 years. And I was like, this is empowering. And all these steps started so that now every day too, and I put this in my routine, I get up and I get ready. Yeah. I shower, I do my hair, I do my makeup because I'm showing up for myself. Yep. Then I feel good. And I know that I'm presentable to people because I have this really big thing. I was saying to somebody the other day, I walked to the grocery store and I was like, I feel like everybody's looking at me like I'm still an addict. And I actually came into this mind frame, and it was Easter and all these kids were doing this Easter egg hunts. And I kind of had to pass through it to get to my house. And, like other parents were looking at me and smiling and, like happy Easter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't see me the way that I feel because I'm looking different. And feeling good about that and confident enough to make eye contact. And this is a long process. And I still struggle a lot with self-esteem. And I know that's going to take a while. But when I'm in that state too, I'm in a heightened state where I can actually contribute something to somebody. My cup is not empty. I can't pour from an empty cup. So the more that I feel empowered and strengthened, then I can go out and help others and do that service work, show up for my job, build a new business, be there for my family, be a mom. And that is a huge, huge feeling. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I do this. I do the show. Wow. I give back. We have people come on that are starting a venture or whatever, and I'll make them their logo. I'll make them whatever, a website, whatever anybody needs. Anybody in recovery, that is my job. I have to give it away to get it back. We preach it all the time. You're honestly one of the best guests we've ever had.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's easy to say it when it's true. I mean, I bullshit a lot of people. But you're genuine. You're looking for an answer. You don't accept what the standard is now. There has to be something more. We all agree.
I love the fire in your voice. I love that
fire.
But it's like fucking recover out loud.
I exposed everything. Like there's nothing that wasn't hidden. And I didn't just do that for accountability, as I know that my story is going to be someone else's survival guide one day. Yep. And if I can make an impact on one person, like my job feels complete. I didn't go through all this shit for nothing. Like literally, and I'm finding people that have gone through this, and I can actually give them empowerment and explain situations to them and set them up with connections and help them. That's what I mean. There's that silver lining. Like my story is now my purpose. And it is my purpose in this world. My story is like my brand. I will tell that. The empowerment and healing I can give to others and myself. That's the push.
Yep. Yeah. My brand too. I made a T. It's my name. It's a whole thing. We started this whole brand to try to make it appetizing to people. There's nothing like this out there. So that's why we did this. It's corny. It's methodical.
Love it.
but it's real. It's real.
It's real.
Totally.
I love authenticity. Like that's how we know we're okay. Is we're not with a bunch of framed people. This is real, and I like that.
I'm not going to pretend to be anybody except who the fuck I am right now, because like you said it earlier, Caylen. Like I enjoy who I am now. Well, there was a time in my life where I was like, oh, I got to please this person, or I shouldn't say that shit. And I shouldn't say I don't care, because I do care. But at the end of the day, I just got to worry about what's in front of me. And
that's just it.
And I actually like Brad now. He's a little bit weird. He's a little bit goofy.
A little bit.
I mean, we tolerate him, but
I love what I'm doing. I'm loving how my recovery works, and it feels good.
Exactly. Right? And there's like a really profound lesson for me, like getting sober was huge, but I had this issue through my whole life, and it was people pleasing and self-sacrifice is like to the maximum level. Yes. So, I would sacrifice, I literally, and I hate to put it this way, but I hope someone hears this and can connect with this. I sacrificed my children to help out bad people who I thought were good at the time. And me trying to overachieve destroyed everybody in the process, especially my children, my family, my good friends. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, I can show up as myself and I can make choices for myself. So I've had to make some really difficult choices in my recovery, like leaving relationships, trying just housing things, different jobs, and learning these things that like I can no longer self-sacrifice. So I've finally, and I say it out loud every day, is like, today I'm choosing myself. I am showing up for myself. Thereunto I can show up for others. And I need to have that empowerment behind me because I am deserving too. And I kind of got lost in the service area and was, again, self-sacrificing too much. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't giving myself enough and pouring from an empty state.
Jimmy will tell you all about that.
Guilty as charged. Yep.
Yeah.
But his heart's in the right spot. But,
I've actually started saying no
regardless. There's a lot of sick, normal people, you know what I mean? And as addicts, we are susceptible to get the shit end of it because we already guilty for one, guilty for all, that whole thing. So like here we promote this culture of we're there for each other. It's a community. It's everybody can look at it differently, but if we're all there and talking like this, we're looking for an answer because there isn't one out there. God bless you on your stimulant thing. I didn't start doing stimulant later in my life, but like I saw a lack there, and I saw people like you and Will not get the help or not go for the help because you can't, you're uncomfortable. So there's a huge mental message that you got out here. And I got to ask you just candidly, and I'm
it's okay. Yeah.
What's it like? I mean, you're obviously pretty, you're obviously smart. So like, no, I mean it. Like she's got to deal with like guys hitting on her, like for the she's 37. Okay. I'm gonna let you answer that question, and you don't have to, but like relationships have got to be tough at this stage in your life.
They're off the plate. They're off the plate. I never chose myself. I chose everybody else. I poured my whole being, my entire existence into people. And when that broke, there was nothing left. There was no me. There was no outcome. There was nothing I could solve. So, I never believed like, okay, the 1 year thing, and maybe that's not a thing, but I really learned that lesson this year for sure, and had to make those choices and let people down to save myself. Like, I'm going to say too, like the other thing with stimulant use for me is like other process addictions, like dangerous relationships, dangerous activities like crime, self-harm, like not eating for days, eating disorders, like many things come with that, gambling, sex addiction. But for me, it was compulsively choosing abusive relationships because I had zero self-worth.
Right. Why did I know that was your story? I just knew it. I just knew that that's, but like, so here you are, relationships off the table. I'm in the same boat. I'm voluntarily celibate. That's what somebody says when they can't, they're getting old and not attractive.
Someone told me I had to go 1,000 days and that would save my recovery. So I trust him because he did it. And I'm going to follow suit.
Well, all I know is that in early recovery, I'm no good to anybody else. Like in that level, I can be a friend or a sober colleague, but I'm no good in a relationship. I tried it. We all have. A lot of us who have gone through this lot, we get out of rehab, we clean, and we replace one for another. And now
codependency.
Absolutely. And you start these tangents, like you change your trajectory, like one little thing, everything changes. So I think guarding your person in that way, like maybe you could have a great relationship, whatever, or maybe not, whatever. But to guard yourself in that way says a lot about how you view recovery. So we are so grateful for you coming on here tonight. You're welcome to hang out. We're just gonna read something. Actually, we'll let you go because I know you're busy. But she was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Caylen.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
She was great. Thank you, Caylen. We gotta can we give her money somehow? I'll just send her money. It doesn't matter. She was $54. She gets it.
That's what we got.
I'll divert all the funds from Talkin Trash. I'm gonna send it to Caylen. That's what you want. I'll start doing that.
I kicked her from the studio. I'd never done this.
Hey boys, I'm way over late too. So
you are go.
You got to go.
All right, boys. We're just gonna read our thing and get out. Thanks, Brad, for everything. And
thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you too.
I got a great show. Sorry.
What a great. I know. I got to pee too. What a great show. Let's read it. There you have it, Willie B. There you go.
Just for today.
It's called Happiness. All right, let's see if we put a little music on in the background, real quiet. Maybe Tiger Woods, y'all. And no, he'll never be able to do it.
No.
All right, let's roll. I gotta pee.
Go.
We come to know happiness, joy, and freedom. Page 102, basic text, page 91. If someone stopped you on the street today and asked you if you were happy, what would you say? Well, gee, let's see. I have a place to live, food in the refrigerator, a job. My car is running. Well, yes, I guess I'm happy. You might respond, these are outward examples of things that
sounds like Jimmy.
Many of us have traditionally associated with happiness.
I mean
we often forget, however, that happiness is a choice. No one can make us happy. Happiness is what we find in our involvement with Narcotics Anonymous. The happiness we derive from a life focused on service to the attitude still suffers is great indeed when we place the service to others ahead of our own desires. We find that we take the focus off ourselves. As a result, we live a more contented, harmonious
life.
And being, of service to others. We find our own needs more than fulfilled.
Yep.
Happiness, what is it? Really? We can think of happiness as a contentment and satisfaction. Both of these states of mind seem to come to us when we least strive for them. As we live just for today, carrying the message to the addict who still suffers, we find contentment, happiness, and a deeply meaningful life. Just for today, I am going to be happy. I will find my happiness by being a service to others.
There you have it.
Amen.
Good job, Will. All right, buddy. All right, everybody. Good show, Jimmy. Thanks for everything you do. We had a couple of things here. Thanks for your support. Everybody can leave. Meeting Finder, if you're early on, go in the App Store, get some help there. If you check out our website, trash-podcast.com, where there's merch on there now. It's a pain in the ass. Recover Out Loud. We'll see you guys on Sunday. And thank you for your support as we try to spread the message that recovery is possible.